I love the word discipline, right? It's not motivation, it's discipline. It's the discipline to schedule your schedule every day. It's the discipline to continue to wake up. It's the discipline to eat the oatmeal over the donut. It's the discipline to write down your affirmations every day. It's the discipline, aka consistency, of those small, minor things.
Dreaming of playing college basketball? The recruiting process can be overwhelming, but with Net Results Recruiting, you're not alone. My name is Steve Schafer. I'm the founder and president of Net Results Recruiting, a full-service basketball recruiting solution based in Arizona. I spent 21 years coaching college basketball at 3 different levels, decided to get out of coaching because I really wanted to start something that's truly going to help players, families navigate the college basketball recruiting process. There's a lot of companies out there, but I don't know that they all do the things that Net Results Recruiting provides. Our goal is to find options for players that are the right fit at the right level so players can have a great experience playing college basketball. College recruiting is competitive. If you're not getting the exposure you need, you could be missing out on opportunities. Coaches can't recruit you if they don't know who you are. At Net Results Recruiting, we take the guesswork out of the process by providing a complete recruiting solution, including a personalized recruiting profile that has the right information that college coaches want to see, an evaluation of your game to help us assess what levels you can play at, and a tool to help you improve your game, a player priority list that allows your recruiting expert to understand what is important to you when considering potential college options, promotion to college coaches, and a huge network of college coaching contacts to maximize your exposure. And finally, expert guidance and advice throughout your recruitment journey. Don't leave your future to chance. Get started today with Net Results Recruiting and take control of your basketball journey. Your dream, your future, let's make it happen together.
Welcome to the Recruiting Assist, brought to you by Net Results Recruiting. My name is Matt Bright, Regional Director of Recruiting for Net Results in the Midwest. Joining us from sunny Arizona is our President and Founder, Steve Schafer. What's going on, Coacher?
Hey, Matt, how are you?
I'm good. Rocking and rolling in here. And we got a friend of the show, probably one of our most requested guests back on today. You know him a heck of a lot better than I do. So why don't you introduce our special guest?
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one tonight. We have Jeff Becker on tonight. Jeff is a certified mental performance and life coach and the founder of Jeff Becker Mental Performance Coaching, a company that provides peak mental performance coaching for elite athletes and coaches, as well as corporate leaders and teams. He's an accomplished author, having written Tender Lions, Building the Vital Relationships Between Father and Son. Jeff is a 4-year Leonard winner on the men's basketball team at Augustana College, the Augustana College, as we like to say on this podcast, in Illinois. He has coached basketball at the grassroots, high school, and collegiate levels. He is the lead director of the Chris Paul CP3 Rising All-American Camp, which is an elite invitation-only basketball event founded by NBA All-Star Chris Paul, designed for top underclassmen. Jeff has worked directly with 2 of my college basketball programs over the years, and I got a firsthand front row seat of the impact that he had on our programs and on my players. Jeff's a dear friend, and I can't be more excited to have him on the show tonight. So, Jeff, welcome to the show.
Let's rock and roll, boys. Buckle up.
All right, Jeff. So we're coming up to the live period. What are the most important mental skills that a high school player should be focusing on leading up and during that live period?
You know, obviously through my conversations with guys, mental performance wise, we have these conversations a lot, whether that's men's side, women's side. And realistically, I'm having it right now. I just had a conversation with the same dude, baseball here in the state of Arizona. He's in the state championship. Is control the internal, right? Is that there's so much external noise, distraction, things that are super attractive to parents and teenagers. But everyone gets enticed by this external stuff. What the best can understand, what the best can do is Do you have the internal, whether that's confidence, grit, fortitude, toughness, to control the internal? What I say to all my clients is that when you can control the internal, it doesn't matter what the external is. It's like you just place them, plop them into whatever external environment that is. So, in a long-winded answer, it's control the internal, not getting attracted or enticed by the external.
Jeff, like, how can players manage the nerves and pressure that come with knowing, hey, there's 50 college coaches sitting on the sideline watching my team or potentially me play? How can they manage those nerves and that pressure?
Yes. So I'll start with, there's two things I always say is that you can always control your focus and control your self-talk. Is that we'll start with number one, your focus is that when you try to control your focus, we need to control what are you focusing on? Is it the past, the mistakes, who's in the stands, who's watching, where the clipboard? Is it the future of are we going to win? Stats? Are they offer me all these things? But the most important is we need to stay in the present. So controlling the focus better is number one. That goes with the internal dialogue is what is that story? What is that narrative that you're telling yourself, right? And typically the narrative, especially for teenagers in these very nerve heightened emotional states, is the self-talk goes into, I always say, I think it was a John Gordon, are you listening to yourself or are you talking to yourself? Most of them are listening to themselves. So what do they think of me? And I going to miss shots? Are they going to offer me this? And what if I make mistakes in this? First, talking to yourself, controlling that narrative, dictating that is more of like, I got this, control the controllable, stay aggressive, big body language, respond, don't react. And if you can control the focus, and then if you can control the narrative, the self-talk better, now you're, again, let's go back to the first question. You're much more in control of the internal and not being dictated and predicated by what the external situation is.
So let's talk about the focus. What are some routines or something that a kid can do before competing to get focused, to get locked in?
Yeah, there's a few things that the most common one that I always go back to are what are our standards? We've all been a part of locker rooms. We've all been a part of programs. And typically it's a cool poster in a locker. Typically it's, here's some cool wall verbiage that it is. And I've been a part of so many programs. I'll go in the locker room and I'll just be like, hey, Steve, without looking at that poster, what are your pillars? What are your standards? And almost 90% of the time, they can't say it because the coach talks about it, preseason. The coach gives them a note card and expects them to do something about it. What I do with my athletes is I say, what are the three things that most embody you at your absolute best? So that could be swagger, confident, vocal, leader, poise, calm, aggressive, energy, whatever that is. Typically, it's all controllables, and it's all right in the present moment. And what I always say is we get so attracted to expectations and results. My job is we separate, we disassociate, we distance ourselves from expectations, and we do that by focusing on standards. We can't control expectations. We can control standards. And so for each one of my elite athletes, they have three standards. And I say, when you can say it the same way you can rate, when you can say it the same way you know your birthday, mine 6/30/87. My standard, present, discipline, courage, joy. When you can say your standards like it's your birthday, when you can say it, you can live it. And that's the most important thing that I would say first and foremost for any of those athletes. And what are those top 2 or 3 things that you can really, really, really focus on? And then that becomes the repeated narrative, the repeated dialogue that you just say over and over, whether you start 3 for 3 or whether you start 0 for 3. I really don't care. We stick to the standards.
Jeff, you're working with a player. They're at an event. A lot of coaches present. They have a bad game. They don't play well. What do you say to that player? What kind of advice can you give a player to help them bounce back from a bad game? Because they're going to have multiple games, that same day,
2 things I always say. Number one, one of my high-level female athletes, she had a bad first day in Texas just this weekend. I sent her, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Jocko Willick's video, Good. What are you going to learn from it? But that goes along with number 2 is that, and I say this to almost all my athletes, is that college coaches, they're smart. I would say 98% of college coaches are smart enough to know what good shots, bad shots are, forced shots, all these things. They want to know, how are you responding? Are you still shooting with confidence? Are you still have that same motor and energy and consistency? Like, yes, okay, great, you scored 20 points, but if you're doing it selfishly, if you're forcing the shots, if you're an egotistical herd, well, then they're going to scratch you off the list anyways. Like, but if you go 0 for 5 and you're like, dang, he's still playing super tough. Yeah, he's still shooting the ball with confidence. He's responding. He's not pouting. He's not moping. He's not stat or result focused. That's what it's all about. And so I'm so big on, and you guys know this. We've been in the game for so long that it's not about what just happened. It's about, what are you going to do? And it's like that Mike Tyson quote. Like, everyone has a plan to get punched in the mouth. And that's what I'm been really big on lately, is like, you're going to get punched in the mouth. Expect it. Stop thinking you're going to be perfect.
Last one about live period. Should a kid be going in to compete or impress?
Most teenagers and parents think it's impress. Now, it's compete. Now, here's why. And I don't typically say this publicly. This is typically something I only give to my athletes. Is I learned this from one of the best sports performance psychologists, works with Olympians. He said this during the Olympics in Paris. Is it be the best or be your best? In most individuals, like, oh, I want to be the best. I want to strive. I want to be the leading scorer. I want to be the starter. I want to get the most. And everyone is striving and chasing to be the best. And what they talked about is, when you're being your best, that's all you can do. You can't control being the best. I can't be better than LeBron James. I can't make more money than ... individual. I can't do any of that, but I can be my best. And typically, when you're being my best, again, not being the best, but be your best. When you're being your best, it typically can take care of being the best. And so, again, really focus on being your best, competing. And again, for all three of us on this call, that's totally different, right? Know your role, stay in your role, and star in your role. But if you're trying to always chase and strive and prove, now you're just totally taking focus away from you being your best. And I know that's kind of hard to say, but because society wants to preach, be the best, be the best, be the best, be the best. Parents are probably saying, be the best, be the best, be the best. But that's all just a myth. You can't. You can't. And so it's being your best is all we can control.
I love that quote.
It's awesome. Yeah, that's really good information for our viewers that typically won't get that kind of information. That's awesome. Let's switch gears here to off season, kind of the mental approach to the off season. Every single player that plays basketball is technically, if you talk about high school basketball, they're in their off season. And as you know, Jeff, we always called it the summer of separation, right? The time that you get a chance to develop and grow and separate yourself from others. So, I know the answer to this because I've seen you with our teams kind of talk about this. So I'm excited to share this on our podcast. But what are some effective ways, Jeff, players can reflect on their past season and then grow mentally and emotionally as they enter the off season?
Really good question. Okay. The first thing I think about when you said reflect on the past season, and I say this all the time, whether that's past season, whether that's mistake, whether that's game, is you have a critical mindset or a curious mindset? Critical or curious? Most of us are very critical. I should have done this. Why did I do that? I'm not good enough. I need to work harder. I need to get stronger. All this very critical. And then what that does is just beat yourself up. Now that's why we have inconsistent confidence. Versus the curious mind is almost the same way, but it's very curious about, how can I be better? Why didn't I do it this way? What do I need to work on? What are my weaknesses? What does coach need from me? How, if I'm on this roadmap of where I am to where I want to be, what is the path that gets me there? And so most society is very critical. We need to be curious. Now, step number 2 is like, okay, then I would say, and that obviously 'tis the season to work on this off-season separation season with most of my athletes. It's, okay, we can set goals, whether that's weekly goals, whether that's daily goals, whether that's where do we want to be in 6 months when you step back on campus. But a lot of it has to do with, what's your time management skills like? It's not what you do, it's how you do it, right? Everyone says, I'm going to go hoop, I'm going to go grind in the gym. It's not what you do, it's how you do it, right? Some athletes are, I'm going to go and just hoop with my buddies. Some are, I'm going to post stuff on social media. And others are like, I need to have 300 intentional shots every single day. And so it's just like, I'll be honest, guys, like me and my wife, if I want to have a better relationship, it's like, it's the phrase of, you don't prioritize your schedule, you schedule your priorities. Like literally in my schedule is plan date night, call babysitter, whatever. And that's literally scheduling my priorities. I'm not like, oh, I know I need to create a better relationship with my wife. That's not just a myth or an idea. I literally plan it in my schedule. Because I always say this, I'm a slave to my schedule. I'm literally a slave to my schedule. And there's no disrespect, but even if my mom or my dad text me, hey, when's the next time I can FaceTime my grandchildren? Well, I have availability from 4:30 to 5 on Tuesday. How does that look? Because so many of us are just saying yes to so many things because we're people pleasers. We don't want to hurt people's opinions. But guess what? If you're not a slave to your schedule, then you're just saying yes to things that aren't going to get you to that next level. And I'm sorry that might be mean, but guess what? That's what the most successful individuals are doing. They're just more focused than you.
Basketball players, are you grinding in the gym but struggling to get noticed by college coaches? Your talent deserves the right exposure, and that's where Net Results Recruiting comes in. Whether you're in high school, junior college, or prep school, we help you connect with college programs, get you promoted to college coaches, and receive expert guidance throughout your recruitment journey. Don't leave your future to chance. Get exposure, get guidance, get results. Let our team find your team. Visit netresultsrecruiting.com today and take the next step towards your college basketball dream.